out in late August, totally remote, and we have stayed totally remote this entire semester. We have, a couple months ago, the school received a waiver from the city of San Francisco to reopen physically and have kids on campus.
Okay.
We did not open officially. What we have done is several Wednesdays, we have had students come in. Wednesdays are like our half days, our kind of flexible days. So we first had a round where where kids came in by grade level. So the way we've done it is that we've split every grade into afternoon and morning cohorts.
Okay.
So we did that so that when we come back in person, there'll be 12 or 13 kids, which we can fit socially distanced in a classroom.
Right.
What we've done is we've had those cohorts come in, walk around, get to see how the school has changed, see each other, get to meet them. So I have met all the kids in person. We've played games, we've done like getting to know you stuff in person.
Nice.
But all the instruction so far has been virtual.
Okay.
Though the plan is, I mean, what we're going to be doing, what I'm planning for is in a week from today will be our first day of fully on campus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're not doing hybrid. No, there are no students who are going to be remote.
Okay.
We are doing.
It's not an option. It's not going to be an option.
No.
Okay. So.
And our principal, when she made this decision, was thinking about all she has heard and read and seen about teachers who are struggling with doing hybrid, with trying to manage a class in person and a class virtually.
Very difficult.
It's very difficult. She felt like it wasn't a good investment. And when she surveyed the students and their families, overwhelmingly, they wanted to return. So she decided that we were going to do fully in person. So in a week, we'll all be in person and we will be all masked up, fully masked on prior to the students and teachers. We have, so like I've been in the classrooms. I usually teach from my room, even if I'm.
Oh, yes.
I don't have to, but I like to.
Nice. I like that.
So I've seen the rooms, I've seen how like the desks are the 6 feet apart. There's 12 or 13 kids, which can fit and keep that distance. And, we've put in a lot of protocols and procedures to keep things as safe as we can. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. A week from today is our first day of fully in person.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge that you've had in delivering the curriculum to your students, especially in this remote world?
I think that honestly, the biggest challenge has been tech issues that students have because of the environments they're in. Because like they're all in their various homes with such varied environments, it has been a struggle kind of losing the equalizing force of the classroom. Like in the classroom, it's the same environment for everybody. You're all there together. Whereas the remote learning, I have had some students who cut out every single class. Who are like, I can't hear you, I can't see this, I can't access that.
It's glitchy.
And that can totally, especially some of the 6th graders are not very good at like trying to problem solve. I have one student in particular who, if he has any problem, he'll say, I can't do this, help. He'll just start blurting out, like, he gets anxious. And he's like, I can't see you. Wait, what are you doing? Wait, my thing's frozen, my keyboard. So that can totally derail everything for a few minutes.
Right.
So that honestly, I think has been those various tech issues. It messes up with the pacing, messes up with access. It messes, then you have to deal with that for a couple minutes. And if you do multiple times a class, you're losing so much time. And then I have students who like get dropped out of the call, or like their audio's not working, kind of stuff. It is like, it's maddening, I think, for everybody, because it's just pure wasted time.
It is.
So that, I would say, has been the biggest challenge. The second challenge is just getting that engagement and being able to, get them invested remotely. It's a struggle to, our school does mandate cameras on. So again,
okay. So that's nice.
There are, because of all the flexibility we have as a private school, it's been, I know that there's been all this talk or articles, but you shouldn't have kids keep their cameras on. Some kids but it has definitely increased it, because then I'm like, okay, we're all going to take notes. I can see that they're doing that. Okay, we're going to I'm explaining something, I'm asking other students to talk, I can see if they're there. I can see if they're checked in. I can see if they're looking down at their phone. So I can see
Mhm.
what's going on. Um, so that I think holds students more accountable. Um, so I've really appreciated that. But even with that, it's been hard to maintain that engagement. And, you'll throw out a question and you'll get crickets. You will
Oh,
get
it's
that,
one of the
absolutely.
questions about, what is it that you feel not supported in? And that's not happening for you, obviously.
No.
It's you are having that support.
Yeah.
And doesn't that change you too as a teacher? Doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's I think so much about how this compares to my old school and about how the teachers there are doing,
Yeah.
because just the level of support dramatically changes everything about this whole situation. Of course, this situation, like remote teaching, pandemic teaching, is never going to be the ideal. It's not what we
No.
want, but the support can completely change that feeling of helplessness and that feeling of I just know last spring when I taught at my other school, it was this feeling of nobody knew what was going on, and
Yeah.
everybody was working so hard for what felt like nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
So that feeling, I mean, it's corrosive. It will burn people
Yeah.
out like nothing else. And the key is not teachers to work harder. The key is not, some new app. The key is support. Like schools, teachers,
Right.
students need the support of,
Right.
of a community. They need support of their administrators. And, they don't need to be judged or measured or assessed
Right.
now. It's what they need is to be supported and to get as much support as they can in supporting their students. And the contrast between my two environments, again, not because of people, but because of resources, could not be
Yes.
starker. It could not be a starker
Right.
contrast.
What would
Yeah.
you like, outsiders to know?
Um, I think the key here that I keep coming back to is the fact that the kids because like it really okay, let me rephrase it. Let me come back, gather my thoughts.
Okay.
The key idea is that this situation has just magnified whatever was going on before. Everything that I feel like is happening now, like all the problems that students are having, the resource, like the shortfalls teachers feel like they're coming up against, it's because everything that they were facing before has been magnified.
Yeah.
And I think so much about students who don't have parental support, that is debilitating in a regular school environment. But when they're at home, it's tenfold.
Yeah.
Um, when I think about teachers who feel overwhelmed with the amount of work they're being asked to do at regular school, here it's being magnified. It's everything. This crisis is exposing all the systemic problems that exist in the field.
Right.
It's for our students and their families. Um, and because now so people are so siloed, like they're so isolated, they're being forced to deal
Yeah.
with problems by themselves. So I
Mhm.
think that this whole moment has just shown us what things really need to be addressed in education. Um, in terms of
Right.
access, like making sure all kids have access, making sure that, kids kids need that, like they need as much support as you can throw at them. They need social emotional support. They
Yes.
need, they need extra help. They need like literacy coaches. There's so much that is just needed. And it shows how sorely underfunded and under-resourced our schools.
Yes.
They've been making do with so little. Um, so I think that's been kind of the big problem that's been exposed. Again, it's nothing new, it's just old problems magnified. But
Right.
I think what we've seen in the positive is that, teachers are so creative. They are
Yes.
so creative and resilient and committed. It just,
Yeah.
it was never about a paycheck for teachers,
No.
but this has just shown how willing teachers are to drop everything they knew and have known
Mhm.
and perfected and has become their craft and flip it out, throw it out the window in a lot of ways.
Right. That's
Like
right.
remake everything from scratch and try the best they can
Yeah.
to teach students however they can, however students are. So it
Yeah.
shows what an amazing, creative, resilient bunch teachers are and students.
Yes.
It's kind of, it's like, it sounds very Pollyanna-ish, very cliche, but we have shown, our students have shown, teachers have shown how resilient they are, how willing they are to, and able they are to adapt to something that is that was unthinkable a year ago.
And what do you think that people could do? What is it that people could do to help teachers and students continue to thrive both academically and emotionally, as we try to move forward?
Well, what I think the most important thing they can do is vote for and pressure their representatives to put education at the forefront of all of their platforms and all of their policies.
Yeah,
Make sure that, like, what your representative thinks and is doing for education and for teachers. And if they're not, write in, call in, look in the next election, make sure you're looking for somebody who is thinking about that. Put that at the top of your list, because everybody kind of has their list of things they're looking for in a candidate. I
mhm,
think that if we gave as much attention to education as we do to any of the issues that people are thinking about,
yeah,
if education was at the top of people's lists, I think that our politics would look very different.
mm,
Also politics too, your school board, your superintendent, like, who are you voting for? Are you voting in those elections? Are you voting for school board? Because if you're not, then you get the same people over and over again. Just
right.
that trying to be plugged into how education works and why it works the way it does is so important. Um,
Mhm,
because so many parents care about their kids' education so much, but they don't have the time or haven't made the time to think
right,
about who is making the decisions about that. Because ultimately, the way our system is supposed to work is that they have the power, that we have the power.
right.
So I think that's something so important. And then second is parents, the more involved you can be, the better. The
Yeah,
more involved you can be, the better. And it doesn't have to be big things. You don't have to go through your students, Google Classroom every night and click every time. But ask them what they're doing. Ask them what they're working
right.
on. What are they reading? What are they doing in their different subjects? Check in. Ask that every day. If you asked your student every day what they were doing and they had to tell you, or you probably know how they were doing.
Oh my God. I'm so inspired by your excitement about what you're doing. I
Oh,
can
God.
tell you that. This is going to be a great interview.
Oh, I hope so. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I think it's going to be great.